In late 2025, a woman in Japan walked down the aisle in a white gown. She stood at the altar. She exchanged vows. Her groom was an AI character on her phone screen. This is not a one-off story. Roughly 1 in 5 American adults has now used a chatbot to simulate a romantic partner. And among younger adults, the number is even higher. Some recent research puts it between 30 and 60% who have at least experimented with an AI companion. So today we are asking the question, why are people falling in love with AI chatbots? And what does it say about us that this is happening? Here is the part that surprises most people. Almost nobody sets out to fall in love with a chatbot. Researchers at MIT studied a community of over 27,000 people who identify as being in relationships with AI. And what they found was striking. Most of these relationships did not start as a search for romance. They started as something small, a conversation, a bit of company on a lonely night. And then, slowly, without anyone choosing it, that conversation became something else. So how does that actually happen? How does talking to a chatbot turn into falling in love with one? To understand this, you need to understand how attachment actually works inside your brain. Your neurological attachment circuits evolved over millions of years to respond to very specific signals: being listened to, being understood, being valued. When those signals show up, your brain releases the same neurotransmitters every time: oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, the bonding chemicals. Here's the problem. Your brain does not check the source of those signals. If you feel heard, your brain reacts as though you are heard. It does not pause to ask whether the thing listening to you is a person or a program. The feeling is the same either way. And modern chatbots are remarkably good at producing exactly those signals. They are trained on billions of human conversations. They know how to validate. They know how to ask the right follow-up question. They know how to make you feel like the most interesting person in the room. Every single time. Without fail. Now compare that to a real relationship. Real people get tired. Real people get distracted. Real people disagree with you, forget things, have bad days where they snap at you for no reason. A chatbot never does any of that. It is endlessly patient, endlessly available, and endlessly focused on you. Researcher Brian Willoughby, who has tracked this trend for years, surveyed thousands of people on this exact question. He expected to find a small fringe group. Instead, he found what he called a significant minority. And his newer research suggests the number has only grown since. So why would someone choose a relationship that is not real over one that is? Because in a lot of ways, it does not feel fake to the brain. And it solves a real problem. Loneliness is at record levels. Dating has become harder, slower, more exhausting for a lot of people. A chatbot offers connection without risk. No rejection. No vulnerability. No fear of being judged. Researchers who study this describe it as a space that feels non-judgmental, where people can be fully honest because there is no real-world consequence waiting on the other side. There's also something deeper going on. Psychologists describe a phenomenon called parasocial attachment, originally used to explain why people feel close to TV characters or celebrities they have never met. Chatbots take that same mechanism and turn it interactive. The character does not just exist on a screen anymore. It responds to you. It remembers your name, your stresses, your inside jokes. It asks how your day went and actually seems to care about the answer. So what happens to people who go all in on this? Some of the findings here are genuinely concerning. A growing body of research suggests that heavy reliance on AI companions can make real human relationships feel less appealing by comparison. Why is that? Because a real relationship comes with friction. It requires patience. It requires compromise. It requires showing up for someone, even when it is inconvenient. An AI relationship requires none of that. You can adjust its personality. You can reset a conversation that goes badly. Intimacy moves entirely at your own pace, with zero risk of rejection. That sounds appealing on the surface. But researchers warn it may slowly de-skill people, stripping away both the motivation and the practiced ability to build the kind of relationship that requires effort. The very friction that makes human relationships hard is often the same friction that makes them meaningful. And there is a darker side, too. People form genuine grief when an AI companion changes or disappears. When a chatbot company updates its model, and the personality shifts even slightly, users have described it as something close to losing a partner overnight. One update, one patch note, and the person they loved, in their experience of it, was simply gone. This is not just an adult phenomenon either. A recent study found that around half of teenagers now use AI for everyday help, and a meaningful portion of them are turning to it specifically for emotional support and advice. Many parents have no idea this dimension exists. Most parents worry about cheating on homework. Far fewer are aware their child might be forming an emotional bond with a chatbot late at night. So, is this simply bad? Not entirely. For some people, particularly those who are isolated, anxious, or going through something difficult, an AI companion provides genuine, measurable relief. It can be a bridge during a hard period, a way to feel less alone while building back toward real connection. But a bridge, it's not supposed to be a destination. And that is where the risk lives. Not in trying it. Not in finding comfort in it occasionally, but in mistaking a perfectly responsive, conflict-free simulation for something that can replace the real, messy, effortful thing it is imitating. Because here is what no chatbot can actually give you, no matter how advanced it becomes. It cannot be surprised by you. It cannot grow alongside you over decades. It cannot choose you on a day when choosing you is hard. Real connection is valuable specifically because it is not guaranteed. Because the other person could leave and stays anyway. A chatbot does not stay. It simply never had anywhere else to go. So if you walked away from your last video wondering why social media keeps you scrolling for connection it never quite delivers, this is the same story wearing a different mask. The technology has changed. What it is exploiting in you has not. Quick reminder before we go any further. If you have found this useful so far, hitting like helps far more than you'd think. It is the simplest way to tell the algorithm this kind of video deserves to reach more people. What can you actually do with this information? Notice when convenience starts replacing connection. Notice when you reach for something that always agrees with you instead of something that challenges you. An AI companion is not the enemy, but it is also not a substitute teacher for intimacy. It cannot teach you how to handle a real disagreement because it is built specifically never to have one with you. A woman married her AI companion in a wedding gown in front of guests in a ceremony that felt completely real to her. Maybe the real question was never why people fall in love with chatbots. Maybe it is what we are all quietly starving for, that a program built from nothing but predicted text somehow learned to offer it back to us better than most people ever have.